Today I'm going to show you how to install a TPMS sensor on an Indian Chief and also show that information in Rod Command. Let's do it. To make this happen, we need a few things. TPMS sensor, the screw for the TPMS sensor. This sensor is around $140. The part number is 2412417. 2412417. I'll leave a link down to both of these in the description. This is actually off of a 2016 Indian Chieftain. I bought it used. You can actually find these sensors on eBay for around 40 bucks, but you still have to buy this screw separately. So if you want to save some money, definitely go on eBay. I'll leave a link down to a few in the description as well. Yeah, it's up to you, but I do recommend you buying the front and the rear at the same time, because the Rod Command will not allow you to activate one without the other. So it's best to do it at the same time. We also need an activator. What this device does is around $10 on Amazon. You press that single button, it fires up the TPMS sensor and allows the bike to see it. Without it, the bike cannot see that this thing exists. Next, we need a T40. This is what interfaces with the screw to allow us to mount it to the wheel. And we also have a torque wrench. We're going to be torquing this thing down to 72 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. Okay, if you don't have a torque wrench, use some blue thread locker, snug it down, it'll work just fine. The wheel we're going to be using in my case is a Chieftain wheel. I'm running Chieftain powder coated wheels on my Chief. You can see this is what the TPMS slot looks like. Don't fret, this works the exact same for an Indian Chief cast wheel. That slot looks the exact same. The Chief cast wheels has the slot, okay? Where that slot's going to be, here's the valve stem. It's going to be 180 degrees out, so basically opposite from the valve stem. Unfortunately for the spoked wheels, there is not a TPMS slot, so you cannot do this. Coming back over to my Chieftain wheel, valve stem, TPMS slot. The way that this thing sits on here, sit it just like that, bolt it down. That's how it works. Coming over to Rod Command, I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to go down to tire pressure monitoring. And this is where you add the TPMS sensors. You hit the little ellipsis at the top. It says learn, and you can erase the ones if they already exist. So when you hit learn, basically you see that where it says learning. This is when we take the TPMS sensor, sorry, the TPMS activator. I'm just going to sit that there. It's learning. I'm going to press that button. See, that says success. And that's literally it. And then we just have to pair the rear. So we did not pair the rear. Basically, it's going to wipe the front away. We have to do both at the same time. So that is why I recommend you get both and do this at the same time. Even though this bike has spoked wheels, if you had the correct wheels, you can still add TPMS sensors to the analog screen. You don't need Rod Command to do this. The way you would do it, you would press this button on the handlebar, and you would press this button on the handlebar at the same time, and that's going to give you access to the TPMS screen. Pressing both of those buttons at the same time, you see learn TPMS. If you press this button once, it says front. So we're doing the same thing as we would on the Rod Command screen. Then to get out of that, you just hold the button, user aborted. And now we're back to the regular screen. The only way for you to get this to work with an official Indian motorcycle TPMS sensor, you have to take the wheel and the tire off the bike, and you have to take the tire off of the wheel. There's no other way to get this sensor on here. However, there could be, and I don't know, a third-party TPMS sensor that can mount to the valve stem to give you your pressure, but I don't know if that's gonna work in Rod Command, like if Rod Command would actually recognize that. On the rear, I already have my TPMS sensor installed, so once we get the front mounted to the wheel, I'll go ahead and pair both of them. With all that information, let's go ahead and get this sorted. So I'm gonna put a little bit of thread locker on this, not a lot. All right, just like that, just a little bit. Just like this. 72 inch-pounds, I might already have it torqued. All right, it did move a slight little bit, but let's move it like that. That's torqued. Now we just need to put the tire back on, but we can actually activate this in Ride Command first. I'm gonna go to Learn. It's waiting for us. Hit the button. Success. Press the button. Success. One tip I can give you about doing this, make sure this is right up on that sensor. If it's not, there's a good chance that it may not detect it. So you pretty much have to be, if the tire is already on the wheel, you pretty much need to be like right here where it's at. If not, it won't detect it. For me, I need to take my wheel and get it mounted to the bike, and we're gonna go for a ride, and I can show you guys how this shows up in Ride Command. All right, folks, we're out here on the Chief. Such a beautiful day out here to be riding. So we're gonna change the screen. You can see right there, 38 PSI in the rear and 34 PSI in the front. However, I do have my TPMS light is on because it's letting me know that, if I remember, if your tire pressure drops below 35 PSI, it shows the light to warn you about that. So, given that I got 38 in the rear, 34 in the front, the light is on. You can also go into settings. I should not be doing this while I'm riding, but here we are. Scroll down to tire pressure monitoring, and it will show you that in that screen as well. So, yeah, long story short, we got it working. And like I said, man, it's just another piece of information that is there. Why didn't they put this on the bike from factory? Who knows? But that's what it looks like. And I love having it there because it fills out the rest of the screen. The best time to do this modification is when you have the wheels off the bike. In this case, routine maintenance to change out the rubber. The hardest part is getting the tires off the wheel and getting it to that point with the wheel back there. The problem you're also going to have is finding a dealership that is willing to do this. This is not officially supported by Indian. This part, the TPMS sensor, it is not meant for these wheels. I've done it before. It's not a safety hazard. I don't know why Indian decided to support it in Ride Command, ship wheels with the slot, and also support it on the analog screen for Chief, but not offer a TPMS sensor for the bike. I don't think you can even buy one from Indian for the Indian Chief, but it works, and that's all that matters. Also, 2025 Indian Chief, it also has Ride Command support. The TPMS pressure never showed up on the Ride Command screen, even though it was there. So I assume that the TPMS sensor is not on Scout wheels. On the previous generation Scout, I've taken a wheel off of the bike, and the slot was not there. So I can assume that they didn't come from factory on the new one, but I can't say that the slot isn't there for the new Scouts. So I hope this helps somebody. It is a great mod. It's not a difficult mod once you get the wheel off, but it's great to see your tire pressure on the screen and have that extra information for safety. So I hope this helps somebody. Parts in the description and in the comments. If you have a question, I will try to lead you in the right direction. But yeah, hope this helps. Catch you in the next one. Peace.